Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Rajiv Ranjan, PDCC in Hepatobiliary Intervention Radiology. I am here to present my research paper on mid and long-term outcome of accessory hepatic vein recanalization in hepatic vein outflow tract obstruction. As we know, HVO2 is a vascular disorder and characterized by obstruction of hepatic venous outflow from hepatic vein to entrance of inferior vena cava into atrium. Thus, if untreated, it lead to secondary portal hypertension and eventually turn into a cirrhotic patient. How the management of HVO2 is broadly based on medical management by thrombolysis or by endovascular management by hepatic vein recanalization or TIPS or by surgery by mesocaval and mesoarterial shunt and by liver transplantation. And till now, there are no definite consensus developed regarding the effective guidelines for management of HVO2, and most of the guidelines are recommendation based on case report, retrospective studies, and expert opinion. Recently, an stepwise approach is recommended by EACL, showing minimal invasiveness of the treatment depend upon the response of the therapy. So why we do need accessory hepatic vein recanalization in HbO2? Accessory hepatic vein recanalization is relatively effective in failed hepatic vein recanalization patient because obstruction of accessory hepatic vein is shorter than those of 3 hepatic veins. And if we compare it with TIPS, accessory hepatic vein recanalization maintain the physiological anatomy and thus limit the complication related with TIPS like hepatic encephalopathy and shunt thrombosis. Most study on the treatment of HbO2 has focused on creation of TIPS and hepatic vein or IVC recanalization, with only few studies have examined on accessory hepatic vein recanalization. So, and data on incidence of procedure-related complication, stenosis, long-term survival outcome of the accessory hepatic vein recanalization are limited in literature. So, the aim of our study is to evaluate the mid and long-term outcome of accessory hepatic vein recanalization in HbO2 patient and to determine the critical factor affecting its efficacy. And my primary objective is to compare the mid and long-term outcome of accessory hepatic vein recanalization in HbO2 patient. A secondary objective is to compare its outcome and technical efficacy and safety of accessory hepatic vein recanalization with that of hepatic vein recanalization. Methodology, it is a retrospective analysis done for HbO2 patient from January 2013 to October 2020 who underwent endovascular intervention in ILUS either by hepatic vein recanalization or accessory hepatic vein recanalization, and out of which 121 patients were selected based on patients' criteria, selection criteria. Selection criteria are patient with all 3 major hepatic vein or long segment occlusion is more than 5 cm for hepatic vein accessory hepatic vein recanalization. A small caliber of native hepatic vein with dominant intrahepatic collaterals were selected for accessory hepatic vein recanalization, and patients with accessory hepatic vein have short segment stenosis with a mean diameter, with a minimum mean diameter of dominant accessory hepatic vein, it should be more than 8 mm. A selection criteria. Patient underwent intervention radiology, and out of 121 patients, 36 patients were excluded because they, based on inclusion and exclusion criteria. My inclusion criteria is chronic HbO2 patient with short segment of membranous obstruction accessory native hepatic vein, and exclusion criteria is HbO2 due to malignancy, active infection, or a patient have severe cardiac or pulmonary disease. Out of which 121 patient, 36% were excluded, and it rest 85% were enrolled for study, and they were assigned into 2 groups. One group we named as a group 1, in which only accessory hepatic vein recanalization was done, and total number of patient was 13. And in second group, it was 72 patient, and in which there is a hepatic vein recanalization was done. And both group we can compare the technical success, safety, and survival. Now the nomenclature some nomenclature are defined as a hepatic vein pressure gradient. We can measure the pressure, distal and proximal pressure, and also measure the gradient between differences of pressure. And the curative effect of the treatment are defined on short term within 1 year, mid term 1 to 2 years, and long term more than 2 years. Technical success of patient was based on 2 parameters. Based on short segment accessory or native hepatic vein recanalization, and post procedure gradient should be less than 5 mm of Hg after procedure. Safety of intervention or depend upon if a patient doesn't have any mortality or morbidity or require transplant. Outcome is based on survival and resolution of clinical symptoms. This is a radiological image showing accessory hepatic vein arising, and on accessory hepatic vein recanalization was done using the snare technique. I have no pointer, I am not able to see. And on the post procedure, there's a color Doppler, so there is a stent with normal flow within the stent. Result: baseline characteristic of patient was done, and baseline characteristics are almost comparable age, regarding age, sex, and hypocoagulable state or whatever myelodysplastic syndromes. And the most presenting complaint is ascites and abdominal pain. Variables are taken as like total bilirubin, EST, LT, albumin count, INR, IVN, platelet, creatinine, MELD score, ascites, and fibroscan. We emphasize on hepatic vein pressure gradient. There is significant decrease in pressure from pre-intervention to post-intervention seen in both group 1 and group 2, and they are statistically significant. And there are also significant decrease in pressure from hepatic venous pressure gradient from seen in both group 1 and 2. Also seen a similar drop in fibroscan level is seen in case of fibroscan level from pre-intervention to post-intervention, and also at 1 year and 2 year follow-up on both group 1 and group 2. If you and we see in the simple line graph, so both graph so significant parallel decrease in fibroscan level at post-intervention at 1 year and also in 4 year duration. Technical success in our group in accessory hepatic vein canalization group is almost 100%, and in case of group 2 it was a 94%. 2% we are unable to bring the pressure below 5 mm of Hg. So overall technical success is 96%. This is according with a study done by Yufei et al. In which technical success is around 100%. And regarding stent patency in accessory hepatic group is 84.6%, and in group 2 it's a 93%. 1 year is primary patency, and secondary patency is 93%, approx 94% in both group. If we compare the intervention in group 1 and group 2, both groups show similar parallel change in decrease in EST, ALT, and bilirubin level, with increase in albumin, hemoglobin, and platelet level, and MELD score is also decreased, with also decrease in fibroscan and hepatic pressure gradient level, with no significant statistical differences between the groups are seen. Our Kaplan-Meier graph shows overall survival is approximately 93%. At 1 year in which 1 year survival is 92.3%. Limitation and the conclusion is accessory hepatic vein recanalization is a promising option for patient major hepatic vein recanalization not feasible. Accessory hepatic vein is effective treatment in BCS patient with long-term outcome in terms of stent patency and survival, and accessory hepatic and native hepatic vein recanalization equal technical success and outcome. Thank you.